What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about the best Week 4 games from this slate. And man, were we lucky this week. Starting off, we're going to go with the 11 a.m. games. Notre Dame at Arkansas. This was really the only dud of a game of the weekend. Notre Dame came out with a point to prove. They wanted to prove to America that their offense is real. With C.J. Carr at the helm and Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price, their offense is the real deal this season. They also came out to show that their defense can hold up teams. Arkansas's only strength this year has been their good offense, and they got absolutely outplayed on the defensive front. For Arkansas, the defense is horrible. You are not going to be able to win any SEC games with defense like this. They may go over in conference play this season. Another point for Arkansas, Sam Pittman got fired. Now, who do you look to be the new head coach of the University of Arkansas? And when you find that person, do they have the donor support? Because with the donor support, Arkansas can become very good with how much money they'll be willing to spend. Next up, USC at Illinois. Lincoln Riley, can you figure out a defense? When will you be able to put a team on the field that can field a good defense, have a good front seven that is big, strong, physical? What they lack, they have good defensive corner play, they have good secondary, but can their defensive line be physical enough? Do they have the good enough rotation to have multiple good rotations in there? And is their front seven with their linebackers good enough to withstand the pass and the run? They're not. USC got exploited this week on their defensive front. For Illinois, you had to have it after your big loss last week against Indiana, and you did. You came out, you responded. You beat a ranked USC team. On the other hand, your veteran quarterback came out and had it when he had to. Led a game-winning drive to kick a game-winning field goal. What a kick right down the middle. If you're Illinois, you are still in contention for the Big Ten championship. If you can win out, and you have a schedule that is possible with your only loss maybe coming to Ohio State, you have a chance to win out and still be in the Big Ten championship. Moving on to our 2:30 slate, Auburn at A&M. Jackson Arnold. When is it going to be time for Hugh Freeze to realize, if I want to keep my job, we got to go try Deuce Knight? They have to follow the formula that Billy Napier did last year. Bench your quarterback, go for the young guy, like they did with DJ Lagway. Go with your young guy Deuce Knight and hope he can be good enough to save your job for another season. Because right now, Hugh Freeze's big selling point is he's an offensive guru who can go recruit and develop quarterbacks. He's 0 for so far at Auburn. It's just not working. Jackson Arnold is not the answer. He stays in the pocket too long, forces the sacks himself. His O-line doesn't hold up, and he can't get past a second read on offense. It seems like he just doesn't have the natural feel for the quarterback position. Their defense is good. DJ Durkin has a good defense, but their defense can't win every game. I think if Hugh Freeze gets canned, it's DJ Durkin's job for the taking. Going to A&M, you got another great run game. Le'Veon Moss is that good of a running back. He's a top 3 running back in the SEC, in my opinion. Had some more rushing touchdowns on the ground. He had 100-plus rushing yards. He's good. You have great receiving core. But if you want to go and win the SEC and go be a college football playoff team this year, Marcel Reed has to be better. He gets sloppy with turnovers sometimes. He forces passes where they aren't going to fit. He has to be better. The offense starts with him at the helm. Next up for our 2:30 slate, we had LSU at Ole Miss. Trinidad Chambliss. We've been asking the question, is he really that good or has he played bad teams? Today we watched him play against an LSU team that is a top 5 team in the country before they lost, and he went out and showed it that he is that guy. He went out and played what everyone thought was a top 5 defense in the entire country and went out and showed him he is that guy. He had over 300 passing yards, over 50 rushing yards. He torched LSU's secondary and their defense. For LSU, your offense cannot run the football at all. One of Ole Miss's biggest knocks on defense was they allowed over 170 rushing yards in all 3 of their previous games. This week, how many rushing yards did LSU have? 50. 50 rushing yards is unexplainable for an offense. Brian Kelly, 2 weeks ago in his press game conference, said, "We won the football game. Why are you asking questions about our offensive production? This is why, Brian Kelly. This is why. You have yet to be able to put together a complete team in your tenure at LSU. It's always been great offenses, bad defenses. This year you have a great defense, and your offense was supposed to be great with a 4,000-yard returning quarterback, and it's not." These are why we ask the questions to Brian Kelly. For your offense, if you're in LSU, Garrett Nussmeier has to be better. It seems like something's going on. Is he hurt? Does he have an injury that we're not known about? Because you don't just go from a 4,000-yard passer, 44-touchdown season to look as bad as Garrett Nussmeier has this year. He has the weapons. They have an elite receiving core. Aaron Anderson, Barryon Brown, Trey'Dez Green. It is an insanely good receiving core that Nussmeier can't deliver the ball to effectively to win games. For Ole Miss, you ran the ball effectively. You were able to outrush LSU, which is a big key to winning this game because it helped you control the pace and the flow of the football game when you possess the ball for longer. Chambliss has the chance this year to do what Jackson Dart and Lane Kiffin have yet to be able to do, and that is make the college football playoffs. Come 3 weeks ago, if you would have told me Trinidad Chambliss D2 transfer would have led Ole Miss to a win over LSU, I would have called you crazy. But here we are. Ole Miss has a real chance to be something special this season, and they jumped up to number 4 in the rankings. I think it's a little high, but now they got to go prove that they're worth it. Following up those games, now we get to the 2 best games of the day. We got Penn State at Oregon. Penn State, slow in the first half. Started off the game slow. Your defense kept you in the first half because Oregon's offense was moving. They had plenty of offensive yards and production. They just didn't get points to show for it with only 3 in the first half. I do not think Drew Aller is a great quarterback. Drew Aller is a good quarterback. He's a good quarterback who benefits from his system with an elite run game and a great defense. But Drew Aller is not, in my opinion, a championship-level quarterback who's going to be able to go get it done at the highest ends of the football field. Granted, he did look good in the second half of this game, leading his team to a down 17-3 and a comeback to send it to overtime. But then we go full circle and we get back to he's not a great quarterback when you throw the interception to lose the football game to an Oregon defense. It seems like everyone on Oregon's defense knew where that ball was going. Threw the ball, fade route into triple coverage, intercepted, ball game, Oregon takes it. If you're Oregon, you have to be so excited about Dante Moore. Dante Moore, in my opinion, is better than Drew Aller right now as we speak. I think he's that good. He just walked in with his true first road game to Happy Valley, whiteout crowd, 111,000 is what they reported the attendance to be, and went in there with poise and won the football game. I think for Oregon, your biggest question was our defense. How good can our defense be? And they showed you how good they were today. Their biggest question was, can they stop the run? And darn it, they did. They held Nick Singleton to less than 30 rushing yards. The dude who everyone thought was supposed to be a top 10 running back in the draft, and now he's fallen down to he can't even get 30 rushing yards. Crazy fall off. But Oregon's defense has to be excited, and their offense looks great under Dante Moore. Moving on to, in my opinion, the best game of the weekend, that was Bama at Georgia. Does Kirby Smart have a Bama problem? Because he was 1-5 against Nick Saban. Now he's 1-7 against Alabama and 0-2 versus Kellen DeBoer. He was outcoached and outplayed. Georgia's keys to being a good football team under Kirby Smart are going to be a physical football team. We're going to be able to run the football, which they were able to, and they're going to be able to be a disciplined football team. Today, they were not the more physical football team. Bama was. And under Kellen DeBoer, a big question we had was, can they be the more physical football team? Today, they showed they were. For Bama, great win to get the season back on track. After your loss to Florida State, people doubted you. Now you get your test in Georgia, you show up. Now we all know you are a legit football team and a legit contender still after your early season loss. You started the game strong again. The big thing last year was you started the game 28-0, and then you lost the lead. This time, you started off 14-0, started off strong, but then you lost the lead. On the flip side of that, Georgia, this is the second game in a row where you started off at a deficit. It was 14-0 before you knew it. Before you blinked your eyes, you were down 2 touchdowns. If you want to be good this year, you're going to have to fix that because that is not a sustainable problem to come back every week in a tough SEC schedule. Bama held Georgia to 31 first quarter yards. 31. They completely owned the first quarter. In fact, Bama owned the entire first half. They outplayed Georgia, out-physical Georgia, outscored Georgia. It was all Bama in the first half. Georgia came storming back in the third quarter. Fourth quarter, we have a game. Ultimately, what this comes down to for Bama was your ability to execute. 13 for 19 on first downs. It's going to be hard to lose a game when you're that efficient. If you're that efficient on offense and you have a guy like Ty Simpson who is delivering the ball that effectively, it's going to be hard to lose. And they did it. They pulled it out. They won in Sanford Stadium, in front of Georgia, in front of the blackout. They pulled it out and won. For Georgia, if you want to win football games in the SEC, you're going to have to get stops and get your defense off the field. You had 19 third downs you had an opportunity to get. You only stopped them 6 times. That is horrible. For a Georgia team, it's very uncharacteristically bad. Usually we see them dominate in those situations. This time they got dominated. Also, the hindsight says Kirby Smart, you definitely should have kicked that field goal. You had 4th and 1 from, it was probably the 6 or 7 yard line, 8 yard line. And what did Kirby Smart do? Run to Cash Jones to the outside. Alabama linebackers absolutely ate it up, stopped them. Game ended 24-21. That was Georgia's chance to tie it. Also, later in the game, they had a wide open 60-yard touchdown pass to a true freshman. Right through his hands, he dropped it. Those were 2 plays that were not on the quarterback. They were on the other people who lost that football game. I believe that Kirby Smart got outcoached and their team got outplayed this weekend, and that's why they lost this football game. Next up, I'm going to talk about just a little bit of OU's bye week. It was a great bye week because guess what? You didn't lose, and a lot of teams ahead of you lost. A lot of ranked teams lost. You move up to number 5 in the AP poll. We're going to get Kent State next week with Michael Hawkins after the Notre injury. This is your chance, Michael Hawkins, to go prove to the Oklahoma fans why they should not be worried about Notre being out. Let's go show how good you are. Let's go show how good you are in a good offense with good receivers around you this year. We didn't see that last year. Also, OU, you get a whole 3 weeks from Matere's injury to the Texas game. Can Matere be back? We don't know yet. We haven't really got a huge update at all on the Matere injury. Also, it's time. You get 3 weeks to game plan Michael Hawkins for Texas. So you get the bye week, then you get an easier game, which is essentially a bye week, leading into Texas. Those are my takes on week 4. Thank you all for tuning back into the channel. Remember, if you enjoyed the video, leave a comment and say what you'd like me to talk about next week. Also, hit the subscription button, hit the noti bell to get notified when all my newest videos drop. Thank you all for tuning in. Boomer.